All right, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me plug my better mic in. Market's ripping up today. Looks good. Hold on 1 second. There we go.
All right, guys, it's Apple earnings day. What's up, team? What are you guys doing today? All right, guys, it's Apple earnings day. What's up, team? My bad. Ooh. There we go. All right, guys, I'm getting everything rolling here. All right, so the Amazon and Amazon stock, the Apple and Amazon stock earnings report are going to be released after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Apple call will be streamed here live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then the Amazon call will begin at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all hear the music? All right, guys. Hey, what's up, Sneaky? Markets rip it up, man. SPY's up, Apple's up, Amazon is up today. Here is the SPY itself on the right side. It's up to 406. HKD, what is that? Whoa. What is this? AMTD Digital. So post IPO. This is a recent IPO. When did IPO? IPO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days ago. So 10 days ago, HKD IPO'd. It's now up to 183. So huge rip up. Here's the SPY on the right. Here's Amazon. And yeah, Apple on the left side here. Music's good. Nice. How long have you been trading for? About 5 years. What's up, guys? All right, bullish or bearish on Apple earnings call? Gonna do a poll. Vote on it right now. Also, hit the like button if you could take the time to. We appreciate it. We're also going to do a Twitter poll as we've been doing lately. Calls or puts on Apple and Amazon. But yeah, you can see Apple is at 157s here. So we're going to go ahead and vote on the Twitter poll as well. I'm going to post the Twitter poll that we're doing right now in the chat as well. Calls or puts. Did I already do a poll like this, though? Actually, I'm going to be sure. Hold on. Oh, I did already do calls or puts this morning. So far, this morning we had 64% puts, 36% calls. So we'll do a different question here for Twitter. Do you think the market is extended heading into Apple and Amazon earnings? And we'll go ahead and make this, like 2 hours long. Do you think the market is extended on the upside heading into Apple and Amazon earnings? Let us know. Vote on the poll here. We'll post the poll right here so you guys can see it. If you want to vote on the poll, there it is right there. I think bearish, but I was totally wrong on the SPY. Yeah, SPY ripped up today, man. No, I can't, Raj. No idea what that is, sir. ILAG, Cap. What's up, man? Ball calls for Intel. Nancy sold too early. I'm newbie trading for only a year. Awesome. I found this channel. Like it a lot. Hey, thank you, Sneaky. We appreciate it. If they report bad earnings, buy calls. Yeah, I mean, in the latest market, that's kind of what's been going on, man. Market has been... stocks have been posting mixed results. They've been posting some, a lot of them posted misses on both metrics, both earnings, so profitability, EPS, and sales. And so with that, the stocks have been ramping up some. Mostly like the biggest known one to do this was Google, and Google had good advertising revenue that boosted the stock and made people optimistic regarding their guidance as well, I believe. So but yeah, this market's weird, man. Market's weird, but hey, we announced for the second consecutive quarter negative GDP growth, and market flew up today. Even reacted positively once it was announced this morning. I guess most people are speculating is that market is already extended on the downside heading into the GDP data release today, as well as all these big earnings releases. So, market usually reacts about a week before, not actually when the data is released. And so it's plausible to assume that, we might just be already baked into this move, and maybe we're rebounding back here. But again, who knows? Sometimes the market doesn't make sense. Hey, thank you, Cap. Bull trap, Apple and all calls. Yes, it's a little extended Apple. The upside is not that strong, and the downside is a little scary. I knew that something was also I shorted morning and went on my way. Hey, good luck, Daniel. What's up, DS? Big old bull trap, maybe. Low volume skeptic. I'm cautiously optimistic into this market, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's like I want the market to go up. Like I don't want the market to go down, because to be completely real, when the market drops, people suffer, And so like I don't want the market to drop. I want the market to go up, but the realist in me, somebody asked me yesterday, they were like, is that the optimist or the realist in you? The realist in me thinks we might come back down, especially when you consider all the other factors that are going into this current economy, with GDP growth, with CPI inflation numbers. All numbers are high right now. Prices are high. There's bubbles in real estate and other necessities like real estate, gas, and groceries. And then, other markets are crashing, like crypto, sneaker market. There's just a lot of different nuance to this market right now that's interesting to pay attention to. But yeah, I hope the market goes up. People suffer if it doesn't. So I generally want the market to go up. At the same time, though, the whole reason they're raising rates is to discourage spending. So in turn, in order to stay competitive, prices drop, and with that, inflation drops. And so, we'll see what happens. They're kind of scared. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be a fun day. ETH up 17s. Hey, that's great, man. Great for Bitcoin and ETH, man. I want to see Bitcoin come back. All right, guys. Also, we're going to sit out our newsletter as we've been doing. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, should I buy this dip in Apple pre-earnings? I don't think so. Maybe if Apple dips a lot post-earnings, maybe I'll buy it then. But pre-earnings, no. Bitcoin almost up to 24K too. It's at 23.8 thousand. Again, if you want my newsletters, they're completely free, as we do here. Yeah, HKD is going absolutely nuts right now. But there's the link, beginnertrading.net/membership. And again, we're going to be sending out our newsletter for this right now. All right, guys. So Apple pulling back to that 156.80 level. The Apple earnings call is at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Amazon earnings call is going to be at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So all right, guys. So Apple just broke under the previous closing price. So technically, Apple is now red. So Apple is now technically red on the day, under the previous closing price at 156.80. All right, team. All right, so yeah, Apple and Amazon. Again, predictions for Apple and Amazon. Let us know. Also, take the time, hit the like button. So far on our poll, we got 44 votes. 45% are bullish, 55% are bearish on this poll. On our Twitter poll here, asking people, do you think the market is extended on the upside heading into the Apple and Amazon earnings? 67% of people think yes, the market is extended. 33% of people think no, the market is not extended heading into the earnings. So again, we'll see. We might make some trades post earnings report, and we're going to wait and see what happens on that front. Let me know if you guys are watching that as well. All right, we are now sending out our newsletter too, guys. If you want to be a part of it, beginnertrading.net/membership. It's all free. It doesn't cost a penny. We don't sell anything here. It's all free. And so I mean, the other question is, what earnings call do you want me to cover? We're going to cover the reaction to both of these in the stock market. So we're going to cover the immediate reaction to Apple and Amazon earnings reports that are dropped. But which earnings call? I'm assuming most people are going to want to follow the Apple earnings call since it's earlier. And then maybe we could switch over to the Amazon one. Let me know what you guys would prefer, I guess, on that front. Amazon, actually, I feel like I can be bullish because the hit of Walmart, Apple, Bear. Good music, though. Hey, thank you, Daniel. What same time frame are you on? These are all 1 minute charts. We're looking at short-term reactions right now. I can put a 5-minute chart up if you guys want to. It doesn't matter too much. But again, when we judge the reaction from earnings, and earnings are coming out in about 17 minutes, we're going to put the 1 minute chart up and zoom in so we can see, the broad reaction to it. Is HKD shortable? Not on my platform, I'm pretty sure. Let me see, I can look. No, I'm having NTB, so there's none to borrow on my end. And we're in 20 shares of Apple. We're just seeing if we can hold over this level, 30, 40. All right, we're in 50 shares of Apple. We'll see how this goes. Small little trade. We might get up to maybe like 100, actually. I like this down wick. All right, we're at 100 shares of Apple. I like this down wick at the previous close, but I think it also depends on what the broader market does. Q is up to 309. SPY is up big too. So market looks good today, heading into the close for the Apple and Amazon earnings. SPY at 406s right now, so that's great. Reached a high of 4680 today, which is pretty nice. But yeah, don't worry, we're gonna cover the reaction from both. Snapchat popping up too, so you'd love to see it. All right, we bought this dip. We'll probably use maybe like 75 as a risk here, short term, and then see if we get a positive reaction. We got about 16 minutes before the bell too, so hopefully the market keeps pushing up. It'll prop this one up too. All right, guys. Again, hit the notification bell. We certainly appreciate it. Let me pull my Discord up. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Hold the rest. All right, so yeah, this is the last big catalyst of the market this week. And then what's next week for earnings? So luckily I took a little piece of this off. Again, we got our little risk level that we can use, and it'll mostly be a break-even trade since we already took some profit here. So yeah, we'll get our break-even there. Maybe add back. Again, if we have a big extended dip on Apple, Apple's one of those stocks that I actually hold in my long-term portfolio outside of my day trading thinkorswim account. So I have a lot of interest in holding Apple up long-term and wanting Apple to do well long-term. And so we'll see how it does. Yeah, it might have gotten a little fake out there, but, you know, we'll keep messing with it. Also, still holding Snapchat, which is treating me really well. Took some more profit on that trade. We ended up buying that one. I think it was at like right after the earnings drop for Snapchat. We ended up buying it pretty cheap. And then we sold, and then we bought it back. If Apple dips, I'll buy. Us and Buffett, nah. I'm not mad at you for it, dude. What's up, boss? I need some coffee, man. I need some other form of caffeine, bro. It's been a long week, dude. Yesterday, I streamed like 5 times, you know? So I'm tired, man. I'm mostly a scalper. I use short-term momentum. VWAP is mostly what kind of trader I am. If I had to kind of designate a niche for myself, it'd mostly be VWAP scalping, short-term. All right, we're scalping the queue right now real quick. Catching this pop. We got 50 shares of it. We'll take another half off there. About 20 bucks on this trade or so. A little bit less. If we get a pop back up, hopefully it stays up. Now we'll go ahead and take the little $15 gain real quick. I don't mind trading in power hour. Green day for me, but small green. There's Apple. So Apple did bounce right around that previous low. So it looks like I got faked out there. But I'm one of those traders, man. I really don't mind jumping back in if I get stopped out. You know, some people make a rule for themselves where, you know, it's a rule that if they get stopped out, they can't jump right back in. Some of my best and most successful trades are trades where I jump right back in after I lose. As long as you have a reasonable risk. Hey, what's up, Bulldog? Why stocks are going up? You ever trade the TQ? Yeah, we bought calls on the TQ right before. Man, what earnings was it? Right before the first big earnings of this of last week. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, we bought TQQQ call options last week. Occasionally, they're cheaper than SPY options, and you know TQQQ does basically the same thing. So we kind of mix it up. I really diversify pretty heavily into a lot of different things. What's up, Bulldog? You still doing poker tomorrow, bro? Do you trade options or stocks only? I trade both. I mean, I don't trade everything every day, but we like I said, we diversify pretty good. Nice. Oh yeah, I saw that video there. That image you sent me, Bulldog. Nice, man. All right, so the House passed the chip bill, so EV stocks are flying up on that favorable chip news. Okay, nice. I might be there, maybe. All right, guys. So Apple pop it up again. We got about 11 minutes before the earnings come out. So 11 minutes. Big earnings today too, man. There's a lot of them. What should we play for the chip thing? I think the chip thing's already done, brother. In my personal opinion, I think the chip thing's already over with, man. I don't think it's over with. I think it's done already, though. If you look at like the ones I saw moving this morning were like Blink, BLNK, Blink charging stations. That was running up this morning. Other EVs, Tesla ripping up today. Part of the reason the market's up is Tesla ripped up nicely from the chip bill too. At least in pre-market this morning, and it at least held its gains as well. What was the other EV? There's a bunch of them. Y'all can list them in chat. I think FCell was one. You know, another energy play moving up on all this. So earnings come out post, like usually it's like within 5 minutes after the closing bell at 4 p.m. Are you bearish or bullish on Apple and Amazon? Amazon, I think, will have a comeback. I think Amazon, I'm more, I don't know. I'm bullish on both of them. I like both of these companies long term. I think both of these companies are stable and have enough potential, like business moving forward, that they're going to all be fine long term, in my opinion. Which one do I like more? I think Apple has less risk than Amazon, because I think Amazon, I don't know. Amazon might. It's really a tough one, and they're pretty neutral in my mind. Not neutral, but they're pretty even in terms of success. They're both two huge companies that are wildly successful and are almost certainly going to be around in 5 or 10 years. And so, like I said, I hold Apple long term. Amazon, I hold it, but less long term. But I like Amazon too. What do you guys think? Which one would you prefer? If you had to buy one, which one would it be? Let me know. Q starting to push up, SPY pushing up too. So very strong closing bell or closing movement here heading into this earnings. After hours, kind of strong moves heading into the close today. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Charge point, yeah, CHP. What is it? What is charge point? I can't remember what it is. Yeah, CHPT. I knew it was CH something. It ripped up to 1570s today too, so it looks really good as well. Amazon Web Services, yeah, for sure. Super strong, man. I remember the last earnings call. Amazon banked on AWS. It was like their big bulk of their business. And I know Amazon, their last call, it was either their call or the call before that. They banked a lot on the Rivian trade. But then when Rivian corrected, their next earnings call was less bullish, I believe, if I'm remembering them correctly. I cover each, most of the time I cover both of them, but yeah. Apple's starting to pop. Let's see if it holds. Let's see if we get some rip ups. Getting some bullish action heading into the close today. Hopefully it holds. Apple up to 157s. 100K, let's go. Hey, good luck, John. Hope you make some money, brother. All right, guys, 7 minutes. 7 minutes before the earnings reports come out. Let's see what kind of strength we get heading into the close. Apple up to 157. Looks like it wants to hold that. Let's put Amazon up here and see how it's performing heading into the closing bell. Amazon up to 122s. Trying to hold over that level as well, it seems. So very bullish action in both of these heading into today's big earnings session. Again, I think Amazon is down on the year and Apple is actually, I think, slightly green if we look at long-term charts here. So yeah, Apple is slightly green, and Apple started off the year at about 145. It's at 157 right now. And so in terms of long-term strength, Apple is stronger than Amazon over the last 52 weeks. Again, I'm not saying it's going to stay that way, but in terms of like extension on the downside potentially as well, I think Apple is a little bit less extended on the downside as opposed to Amazon, which, you know, again, is actually red on the year. Yeah, no worries. Apple always a little late. Yeah. Yeah, we'll cover both of them. It'll be interesting. They should both drop pretty soon. Yeah, we got 6 minutes, guys. 6 minutes. I kind of a pullback in both of these heading into the close. Maybe somebody front loading. We'll see. Snap still popping up. All right, guys, let's see what we get. 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes before the closing bell. Amazon popping right back up towards those highs here. Let's see if it stays Again, about 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes before the close. And earnings report should be released within 5 minutes after that, at least for Amazon. Apple might be a little late, as people are suggesting, but hopefully not. Amazon's still pumping up pre-bell. Look at Apple right here. Trying to recover. Amazon ramping up. Seeing some strength heading into the close today, guys. Again, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. Yeah, man. This video of that kid that YOLO'd 50K in Apple calls. He live streamed it. Shoot, man, so he lost 42,000. All right, guys. 4 minutes, team. 4 minutes. Really about 3 minutes to be exact here. So 3 minutes before the closing bell. Let's see what we get. All right, guys. Good luck. We'll see how everything performs here, man. It's been a big green day, but the question is, are we extended heading into these earnings? You know, and again, the market's been kind of weird where we've been posting misses and stocks have been ramping up. These are the last big earnings this week. We do have oil earnings tomorrow that are happening. So oil earnings are going to be coming out and dropping tomorrow. And so we'll see how that impacts. Those impact everything as well. But we do have oil earnings tomorrow. Watching the tech sector move, specifically Tesla, which is moving up nicely over the last few minutes. About 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. See it move. We just took like a 300 share trade on the queue here that we're taking right before the close. A little risky, but we ended up making money on it. There we go. Still ramping it up. About 30 bucks on this just now. So not bad for about 30 minutes of trading or so. About $1 a minute. We'll take it. Got 25 shares left, and we're going to cut this before the closing bell. I'm not going to risk that, but we'll hold this maybe if it looks good until then. Got about 25 shares at the queue. Nice. All right, guys, we got about a minute left. I'm going to take a little bit more off here. 10 shares. Should I hold this 10 shares into the open, guys? Let me know. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll just sit and make that $30 gain on the queue, and then we'll wait for these actual numbers to drop. And we got, like I said, here's Apple. So Apple at the top of the range. Less than a minute, guys. Yeah, man, do what you want, but like, yes, I mean that's just kind of gambling, Chris. You know how it goes, bro. Yeah, options, man. A lot of options make everybody's eyes big because they're so risky sometimes, man. But they can just get traders in trouble, you know. All right, guys, let's do this. We're gonna pull everything up. We got everything ready here, waiting for the Apple numbers to drop, waiting for the Amazon numbers to drop. All right, there's the closing bell, guys. Nothing out yet that I'm seeing here. We'll put it up somewhere else just so we know. All right, so no brash reactions yet since the closing bell here. Amazon sitting at 122s. Apple is sitting at 157s. 157s. Nothing yet for either. There no big reactions yet. Oh wait, these are Q3 earnings, man. I'm dumb. Okay, good. I didn't really specify. Nice. All right, cool. All right. No big reactions yet in both of these. Still waiting for these numbers. If you get them before I do, let me know, but I should have them pretty quickly as soon as they come out. All right. Amazon looks like it's out. Amazon ripping up to 125s. 125s. All right, so Amazon posted a second quarter loss per share of 20 cents. Amazon's second quarter sales of 121.2 billion, a second quarter loss of 2 billion for Amazon. Second quarter product sales of 56.58 billion. They see the third quarter sales coming in at 125 to 130 billion. So those are the numbers for Amazon. They posted a loss per share of 20 cents for the second quarter. Second quarter sales of 121.2 billion, a second quarter loss of 2 billion. So Amazon lost. So here's the full numbers. So they estimated 14 cents profit. Here's the full numbers for Amazon right here if you guys want to see it. All right, so here's the full Amazon numbers here. I don't think we have anything out for Apple yet, but we'll post all the data as soon as we get it here. So yeah, they saw third quarter sales of 125 to 130 versus a 126. Okay, so here's the thing, right? You want to know why Amazon up? Amazon is up because their guidance for the third quarter came in higher than expected, at least on the higher end. So here is the link and kind of what's going on. But yeah, you can see Amazon ripping up big here from that. Yeah, the third quarter guidance came in at 125 to 130 billion. It looks like Apple might be out as well. Here's the Amazon numbers here fully here if you want to see them. And we'll post everything. But I don't see anything out for Apple yet. It might just be going up on sympathy with Amazon so far. But yeah, there's the Apple numbers. We're going to put this into a file. You guys can kind of know what happened. But yeah, Apple is up now. Amazon also said that the second quarter net loss includes a pre-tax valuation loss of 3.9 billion, included in non-operating expenses from our common stock investment in Rivian. Basically saying they lost a bunch on Rivian. And so, yeah, so still waiting on the Apple numbers. I don't think they're out yet. I think this is just moving up in sympathy. Yeah, Apple numbers aren't out yet, but Amazon is up on this. And again, we're kind of creating a file so you guys can see what's everything for Amazon. All right, so so far, Apple or Amazon has mixed results so far. And there's a lot of data here to unpack. Second quarter loss per share of 20 cents. Second quarter sales of 121 billion. Second quarter loss of 2 billion by Amazon. Second quarter operating margin of 2.7%. Third quarter operating PFT of $0 to PFT of 3.5 billion. And they saw third quarter operating. They saw third quarter sales of 125 to 130 billion, and that's why Amazon is up. I think is because it had mixed results in terms of metrics with both with sales and EPS. Sales were better than expected. EPS was worse than expected, but their guidance for the third quarter is higher than expected, or at least on the higher end relative to expectations. And so I think that's why Amazon is popping up as much as it is. It's currently at 134.40s. And as I said, Apple, I thought Amazon was a little more extended on the downside too. So, you know, yeah, we got a big move up. We're also going to post the rest of this here. Amazon says that the second quarter 2022 net loss includes a pre-tax valuation loss of 3.9 billion included in non-operating expense from our common stock investment in Rivian. So basically, Rivian lost them some money, is what they're saying. Still nothing for Apple yet. We still don't have the actual Apple results so far. Roku. Roku's not. Yeah, Roku's out. Let me see. I gotta figure out what Roku is. Yeah, Rivian's still stinking up a lot of people's books. Roku dipping heavily. Yeah, Apple doesn't look like anything is out yet. We'll post the Roku numbers too if you guys want them. or at least we'll talk about the Roku numbers. I'm not going to cover the call for Roku, but we'll talk about the numbers. But yeah, Apple ripped up, or Amazon ripped up big. So Roku, see, Roku's making you go to their investor relations site to see it. But Roku's down. When does Apple release, man? How long do they? I'm trying to think of what they did last earnings call. But yeah, again, Amazon had just to decide, just to kind of show you guys why I think Amazon is up. Again, Amazon actually had mixed results. They posted worse than expected profitability, or EPS, better than expected sales, but their third quarter sales, they came in at 125 to 130 billion versus 126 billion expected. So on par with expectations in terms of third quarter sales guidance, but on the higher end. You know, they expected 125 to 130, or they showed 125 to 130, and they posted 126 estimates. So guidance was okay. You know, even though Amazon lost money, again, it's on par with expectations and this type of stuff. 415 to 430 got you. Very nice, Joshua. Yeah, it should be fun. All right, so Roku posted second quarter EPS of 82-cent loss per share, missed the 68-cent loss per share estimate. Sales of 764.41 million, missed the 805.64 million estimate. And so Roku missed big. And again, if you look at Roku had a big drop down from about $85 all the way down to $66 at the lows. So a very big percentage drop for Roku. Very big percentage drop. Again, still waiting on the Apple numbers here. TTD, Trade Desk, dropping big on their earnings report coming out. We'll see if we can cover what's happening there too. Yeah, maybe it's just riding with it for TTD. But here's Apple. Amazon ripping up. It's at 136, guys. 136 for Amazon. Huge rip up. We'll see if it moves, continues. Their guidance was on par with expectations. Intel, huge guidance miss. So yeah, INTC, guys. Man, INTC posted a second quarter revenue of 15.3 billion, loss per share of 11 cents. Let's see what their guidance was. Revenue, what did they expect here? Okay, so yeah, Intel C fiscal year adjusted EPS here. We'll post it. Yeah, what were they expecting in terms of guidance for the third quarter for Intel? Looks like Intel's down. Apple popping up a little bit here. Yeah, but I think Intel doesn't matter. I'm trying to see what the actual numbers were for Intel. Apple popping up. Are the numbers out for Apple? Let me see. Nothing out yet for Apple. Again, Intel, INTC. Fiscal year 22 adjusted EPS is 230 per share versus 342. So a huge EPS miss for Intel. Sales of 65 to 68 billion, missed the 74 billion estimate. So Intel missed on both fronts. Again, for the third quarter guidance, they posted 35 cents profit versus 87% or 87 cents expected. So a huge guidance miss, a huge miss in terms of EPS for fiscal year of 22, as well as a sales miss as well. So Intel missed on all metrics. So that's why Intel is down so much. If you look at INTC, it missed on all metrics, and it's down to $36 a share. Still waiting on the Apple numbers. Yeah, nothing out for Apple yet. But man, yeah, Amazon up to 136s. So Amazon's ripping up. Apple probably moving up in sympathy with Amazon is all the way up to 158.50s right now, right around the highs of the day. We might have a support or resistance level up here at like 158.70s. And so we're watching that as well. But again, still waiting on the Apple numbers coming out soon. As somebody said in 20 minutes, so that'll be fun. All right, guys, Apple is up to 158.60s. Yeah, Roku tanked as well. Roku posted mixed results also. Yeah, so Roku missed. Third quarter net revenue for is 700 million for Roku. But yeah, Roku missed on two metrics, or both metrics as well, in terms of EPS and sales and guidance, I'm pretty sure. So Intel and Roku both missed on both EPS, which is profitability, sales, and then guidance as well, which is future projections. And so those two companies, Roku and Intel INTC, missed on all three of the most important metrics in terms of like earnings, which is future guidance, sales, and EPS, which is profitability. So yeah, not good for both of those companies, and they're down big from it as well. Roku currently down to man, I should have held my Apple trade. Roku going all the way down to $66, 66.75. Intel currently dropped all the way down to $36 a share. So yeah, Apple is currently at 158.69 right now. What do you guys think, guys? Bullish or bearish, man? Apple testing highs of the day. Amazon all the way up to 135s. But yeah, Intel, again, missing in a lot of different metrics, both EPS, sales, and guidance for the third quarter. Yeah, Apple earnings are going to be at 4:30 in about 18 minutes. Apple just broke highs of the day as well. Amazon, after a huge rip up from this, is up to 135.30s right now, 135.30. So Amazon with a huge rip up, almost up to 136. Apple just broke highs at 158.80s. And I know the earnings aren't going to come out for another 18 minutes, but we're watching the stock break highs as well. Let's see if Apple breaks 160 today. Amazon pulling back. I think 135 looks like a reasonable support level. And just to give you the rest of the metrics for Amazon posted Amazon guidance third quarter sales in the range of 125 to 130 billion versus the analyst estimates of 126.6 billion. So we were on par with third quarter sales guidance, a little bit on the top end of that, which is good. There's a lot of other stuff going on too. There's Apple up to 159.40s, 159.40s. All right, so Amazon third quarter EPS, adjusted EPS of Amazon is 18 cents, beat the 13-cent estimate. Let me add this here. All right, so here's the full Amazon numbers. Again, second quarter EPS of 20-cent loss per share, missed the 14-cent profit per share estimate. Sales of 121.2 billion, beat the 119.12 billion estimate. They see third quarter sales guidance coming in at 125 to 130 billion versus about a 126.42 billion estimate. So again, we're on the top end of that, the higher end of that third quarter guidance. And that's probably why Amazon and a lot of other stocks are ripping up in sympathy with Amazon, is because of that specific guidance projection for the third quarter, which again came in on par with expectations. It was within the range of 125 to 130, or 126.4 is what they expected, and they posted 125 to 130 billion. So good guidance projections for Amazon, or at least good enough. Again, they were on par with expectations there. Apple dipping down to 158.30s, Amazon testing that 135 level. Yeah, Roku and Intel both got hit bad. And again, to explain why Roku and Intel are both down so much from these numbers is because Roku and Intel both missed on everything. They posted worse than expected EPS, which is profitability, lower than expected sales, and bad future guidance projections. So when you combine all of those things, it's pretty bad. And that is why, if you look at Intel or Roku right now, they're down heavily from these earnings announcements. Intel is down to 36.30s. Roku is down to, Roku just broke lows. It's down to 64.25s. Apple over that 135 level, or Amazon over that 135 level. I mean, hey, good for Comcast. Yeah, so Amazon technically, remember, had a mixed results. They had worse than expected EPS. They actually came in at a loss per share when they expected. I think it was a 13-cent profit per share estimate in terms of EPS, which is profitability numbers. Sales came in better than expected, and then outlook or guidance came in neutrally, but on the top end of neutral, if that makes sense. I asked you to cover DXCM. I don't know much about DXCM, brother, just to be honest. I can look at it. Looks like it posted some type of loss per share, unless it's following some of these other ones with Intel. So yeah, Dexcom posted 12-cent missed 12-cent profit per share, missed the 19-cent estimate. Sales of 692.2 million, missed the 698.5 million estimate. So yeah, they posted worse than expected results on both fronts, in both EPS, which is profitability, and sales numbers as well. I don't see any other guidance or anything like that for them yet. Amazon back up to 136. Yeah, no worries, no name. Got you, man. Yeah, I mean, Intel, are y'all buying the Intel dip? I think that's the question. Are you buying this Intel dip? Let me know. Intel, Roku, are you buying this dip? Also, guys, give me a follow on Twitter if you can. Give me a follow on Twitter if you can. You know, we post nothing but free content here. And so if you haven't already, link. Where do I find these earnings? I use Benzinga, but I also use TD Ameritrade, a few other things. You could try, if you look at the link in the description for Benzinga, it gives you, you can try them out completely free for 2 weeks without even needing a CC number. So you can try them out for free for 2 weeks if you like Benzinga. You know, at the very least, you're going to get Benzinga, which is like a really nice professional, you know, stock trading platform. Really the best news source in the game. And you'll try it out for free for a few weeks. If you don't like it, you cancel it. And then you can also use Thinkorswim, which is the brokerage I'm using here. TD Ameritrade's brokerage. Apple, the earnings report for Apple should drop in about 12 minutes, and the actual earnings call is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern. Again, like I said before, I thought Amazon was a little bit more extended on the downside heading into the earnings, and so not really a huge surprise that Amazon is bouncing up a little bit again. If we look at Amazon before this earnings release, Amazon, and even after the release, I guess, was red on the year. So Amazon started off the year at 167 per share. This is all post-split. The pre-prices before the split are different, of course. But if we look at Apple's long-term chart, Apple is actually technically green on the year. And so if we're talking about extension, as I said before the earnings were released, I thought Amazon was a little more extended on the downside, which means that I would look for some more bullish, you know, movement on the upside. But it's all relative to earnings, really. Apple is up to 159. All right, guys, let's do this. Can you check URI? Got you, man. Yeah, let me know if you think. So now that our poll's done, let me end this poll real quick. We had bullish or bearish on the Apple earnings. We got 57% saying they're bullish, 43% saying they're bearish. We're going to end this poll, and we're going to do another poll. Apple is not out yet. They say Apple is going to... Apple is going to release theirs in 10 minutes at 4:30 is when it comes out. Again, are you buying the Intel dip? So we're going to do a new poll. It's what better buy in the current market. Apple or Amazon? What would you rather buy, Apple or Amazon? Hey, we got over 800 people here, so we appreciate it. What are your expectations regarding Apple? To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't know what Apple's going to do. I don't like with earnings. It's so hit or miss. It's so coin flip like, and so I try not to give any super big biases in either direction, just because you never know what's really going to happen here. Yeah, I'm an AMD guy as well, but I think Intel's got some. AMD's got the cooler technology for sure, but Intel's got the business on lock. It's kind of like Apple versus Microsoft in the 90s. You know, Apple was cooler. Microsoft had the better technology, or Microsoft had the business game on lock. You know, and so I try not to really pick too hard for either way. But yeah. I like AMD's technology better, but Intel's getting better with their technology as well, and they're just way bigger. All right, guys. Apple up to 159.16. Look at Amazon rip, guys. It's almost up to 137s. The high of the day is at 137.20s here for Amazon, so it's starting to push closer and closer up to that level. All right, so far we got 84 votes on that poll in less than a minute. So 84 votes in this poll in less than a minute, and 58% are saying they prefer Apple. 42% are saying they prefer Amazon. Yeah, I'm an Android guy, man. I mean, I have an Android phone. You know, if you look at my phone, I have the like I said, if you look at this, I've got the Z Fold phone, so I can kind of close my phone and open it. And charts are fun on this thing. Like I can trade on Webull. There's a bunch of cool stuff that I can do with this one. But I do understand the market for Apple is huge. Apple has a way bigger following in the U.S. than Amazon or than Samsung phones. A report for Apple is dropping in about 8 minutes. Certain could happen. Bo says, I feel like Apple's going to miss a lot. Strong dollar, low demand, higher operation costs. Certainly possible. They were way bigger. AMD is worth more now. Is it really? Apple pays a dividend. Yeah. All right, guys. Apple up to 159. Amazon at 137. Yeah, 136.80s, 136.70s for Apple. Yeah, Apple moves the market for sure. Yeah, Intel missed on all metrics. If you're wondering why Intel is down, again, just to explain this, we'll post the actual numbers for Intel. But yeah, Intel dropped the ball on a lot of different metrics. They missed on EPS, they missed on sales, and they missed on guidance projections, which is a very bad. That's a very bad trio of metrics to be released, which is a miss on all fronts. And so not good for Intel. And if you look at Intel real quick, you can see Intel is down very heavily from this. Big drop all the way down to 84.40s. So you buying this dip? Let me know. I tend to be one that I believe in Intel, the technology for sure. I'm kind of a tech nerd, hardware nerd. And so, Amazon calls are printing. Nice Brewdries. Love the name, by the way. Who that? How about them Saints, man? Hopefully, Saints get some better players this year, man. We got old Winston, I think, right? Oh, wait, is Brees coming back? Did Brees say he was coming back? I can't remember, man. I haven't been following it. Yes, sir. LSU should be fun with the new coach this year, too, man. I'm from Baton Rouge, by the way. But yeah, should be some fun this year in football. Astros got beat by the A's twice. Don't even tell me about it. Don't even remind me about it. Super disappointed in the Astros. Yeah. All right, guys. We got about 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. Yeah. Nice. Hey, yes, sir. Platinum. Michael Thomas, man. That's probably my favorite football player outside of, a few QBs, It's probably like Lamar Jackson, and then Thomas is probably my second. This is Thinkorswim. Hey, nice camping and fishing. Hey, nice, man. Buy stocks, bro. It's a big earnings day, man. What am I doing here this late? It's big earnings, man. We got Amazon earnings dropping, Intel drop numbers, Roku drop numbers. Apple's coming out with their numbers in about 5 minutes. And so it's just a big day, man. You know, we got a stream. We got 850 people here hanging out with all 850 of you degenerates on this beautiful Thursday evening. Honestly, bro, I'm tired, dude. Yesterday we streamed. Yesterday we got up at 5:30. We streamed. And then we did the FOMC meeting at in the middle of the day. And then after that, we did another stream for earnings yesterday as well. Meta earnings were big yesterday too. So I'm tired, bro. We've been moving. Yeah, Winston, man, if he could just tweak himself a little bit, bro. I think he probably just hasn't got that much play time here in the Saints. And, you know, he'll do okay. Hey, thank you, No Name. I appreciate it, man. I used to dislike Winston. I just don't think we've given him enough chances, you know, and I think we're taking like a very small, obscure amount of data and then we're making it bigger than it really is when he's won games and he did okay, you know. Apple with a big pullback candle here. Nothing big yet. We're at 136 right now for Amazon. I didn't know what they were going to do with the Taysom Hill situation. And I like Taysom, but I don't think he's going to be a full-time QB. Great legs. Unfortunately, you know, not the most consistent thrower. Tomorrow is all about oil, No Name. So if we're talking about who's reporting earnings, Apple is in 3 minutes. Yeah, basically. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Market's been doing pretty well considering that we posted our second straight GDP loss. You know, we posted a minus 0.9% GDP loss today, which that's 2 consecutive GDP losses, which could indicate a recession. Market's actually flying up today, which is, you know, interesting. But again, the speculation is that we're already baked into a certain extent on this. And so, you know, considering how much the market has dropped over the last like 3-4 months, you know, a lot of people are guessing that maybe we might be oversold now. And that's the reason we've had so many bullish responses to earnings and GDP and CPI numbers. But again, I don't know. Y'all's guess is as good as mine, to be honest. I'm still waiting on Apple, guys. Nothing yet. Again, Apple's dropping at 4:30. So in 2 minutes is when Apple should come out. All right. So, but yeah, Amazon basically, this is Amazon's numbers basically. Amazon dropped second quarter adjusted EPS of 18-cent profit, beat the 13-cent estimate. If we're looking at EPS though, Amazon missed on EPS. A big bounce for Apple. Could this signify that we're getting the numbers out? Let me see. Nope, not seeing them yet. Still waiting, guys. But yeah, Amazon missed on EPS, did good in sales, and then had neutral, but on the high end of neutral third quarter guidance projections. And I think that's why Amazon is up as much as it is. A lot of the loss for Amazon also came from Rivian. Dude, that thing is a destroyer. They should call Rivian the Punisher because that thing is taking everybody out, bro. Amazon has lost a ton of money on that thing. And so did, what was it, Ford? Didn't Ford invest in Rivian as well and lose a bunch of money from that too? So Rivian just taking names in this market. But yeah, still waiting on the Apple numbers. They should be out sometime in the next 60 seconds. Apple at 159.10s right now, 159.10s. Again, waiting for the numbers. We're also going to stream the Apple earnings call, so stick around. You don't have to go anywhere. We'll stream the entire earnings call, let you listen to it, talk about it, chat about it in chat. Yeah, let's see what we get. Last minute projections on Apple, guys. What do you guys think? Apple at 159.20s now. All right, guys, there's Apple's numbers. They're out. So Apple numbers are out. You can see it influencing it, popping it up to 161. What I'm showing right now for Apple, come on, load. There we go. So Apple posted June revenue record of $83 billion, up 2% year over year. EPS is 120 per share. 120 per share. Ripping up. Apple's ripping up to 163s. So Apple is flying up on this. Again, they posted third quarter EPS of 120, beat the 116 estimate. Sales of 82.96, beat the 82.81 estimate. So an earnings beat and a sales beat for Apple here. Market's going to fly on this news. But yeah, earnings and sales beat for Apple. Market's going to fly on the news. We're going to post it right here so you can read all of it. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Here's the number. Third quarter EPS of 120 beat the 116 estimate. Sales of 82.96 billion beat the 82.81 billion estimate. So this is a beat on both metrics in terms of current numbers. Apple posted third quarter sales of 83 billion, third quarter EPS of 120, third quarter net of 19.44 billion, third quarter Mac rev of 7.38 billion, third quarter services revenue of 19.6 billion, iPad revenue of 7.22 billion, iPhone revenue of 40.67 billion, third quarter products revenue of 63.36 billion. So yeah, earnings beat for Apple. Again, posted EPS of 120 per share, beat the estimates as well. Apple at 161s right now. It's probably going to drag the rest of the market up with it also. I don't think it's a big enough beat. I don't think this gap's down. Yeah, we'll see. Third quarter net sales for America at 37.427 billion. Europe 19.287 billion. Yeah, this is big numbers. This is gonna benefit the market. And so what's odd? If Apple goes red, I truly don't get this market, man. If Apple goes red after beating all the expectations, I truly don't understand. But yeah, so far Apple's doing great on these numbers. Yeah, I'm looking here. Hold on 1 second. There's the full numbers there for third quarter. I'm looking for the guidance here. All right, Apple pulling back some. Apple says that they near doubling of sales in India in June for the quarter. CFO says that the supply chain issues in June quarter cost under $4 billion in sales. Apple quarter 3 Mac revenue came in at 7.38 billion, down from 8.235 billion year over year. Wearables revenue of 8.084 billion, down from 8.77 billion. So a little bit down on Apple Mac revenue. Third quarter iPhone revenue is up relative to expectations. The Apple CFO also says that they expect 6% loss from foreign exchange in the current quarter. I don't see guidance here. If y'all see the guidance, let me know. I'm looking for it. All right, Apple back up to 161s. CFO says that revenue growth is to accelerate in the current quarter versus June quarter rate. He says that they're seeing no demand slowdown for iPhones as well, and this is all causing some bullish reactions. Again, the Apple CFO says that they expect revenue growth to accelerate in the current quarter versus June, and they also see no demand slowdown for iPhones. The Apple CFO says that wearable accessories and home products are seeing demand weakness due to the economy, but that they're not seeing any demand slowdown for iPhones, and that they expect revenue growth to accelerate in the current quarter versus June. And that's causing some bullish responses here. We're up to 161.30. Amazon's right around the highs of the day. The new high of the day for Amazon is currently at 137.89. We got about 25 minutes before the actual earnings call. And again, we're going to stream that earnings call as well. Yeah, so they didn't give guidance. Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right, so yeah, Apple, no guidance. Yeah. All right, team. So yeah, Apple up to 161.40s here, 161.40s. We'll see if it continues. Again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We drop all this free content for you guys. So if you haven't already, guys, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. We certainly appreciate it. And yeah, let's keep growing. Apple up to 162s, 162s. Apple up to 162.30s here, guys. So huge movements here coming in. Big moves. Up to 162.40s. Amazon at 137s, but Apple up there at almost a 163.27, which is where the high of the day is. We're short Apple into this. What do you think? I don't think that's good. Well, good luck, dude. Hope you make money. You know. Yeah, for sure. A1. But got out now? Okay. All good, man. Hey, cutting losses is a good skill to have, brother. So good job, man. How much Roku did Kathy Wood have? I've consistently said, no offense to Kathy Woods, but I wildly disagree with her trades. Wildly disagree with her trades. To be honest, for me, coming from the outside looking in, and maybe I'm completely wrong on this, and if I am, y'all can correct me. But Kathy Woods just looks like she buys up some really hyped up stocks and then sells it at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why, you know? Like, she announced that she's selling Coinbase, and like, I guess the way I look at it is, if you're gonna hold all the way through this massive crash we've had in crypto, why are you selling now? You know, that's when now's the most likely time where I'm gonna want to buy stuff up. And so it just seems like she's buying hyped up stocks, and then when they drop, she's losing a bunch of money. And to her credit, though, this last few months has been very difficult for all blue chips. But you know, I don't know. Best cheap real-time news source for earnings. Like I said, you could try out Benzinga, and Benzinga, you could try it out for free for 2 weeks if you like it. You don't even need to use a credit card for Benzinga, so you can try them out. They're pretty useful. If you want to know the earnings like as soon as they come out, you know, you can use like TD Ameritrade. You know, if you open up an account on TD Ameritrade, they'll give you this news source, which, like, again, if you see this here, I can just type in anything and get the full list of metrics on TD Ameritrade. So like Apple, Amazon, you know, just kind of look at all this. They'll give you everything here, and this is free. It doesn't cost anything, and it drops as soon as it comes out. Yeah, ETH is breaking out again. Yeah, I definitely like the fact that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are doing well in this. Yeah, the short ARK is doing great. But yeah, I mean, I think it's not that I disagree with Kathy Woods. Apple's still pushing up. Apple up to 163s right now. She kind of trades the opposite of I do. Like, I tend to look at really healthy companies that I think are really extended on the downside, and I buy those, you know. And then when they get extended on the upside, I sell. And it just seems like she's buying it when they're extended on the upside and then selling it when it drops. And so I just, you know, I don't know. Just not the way I trade. But I mean, listen, she is a millionaire many times over. So what do I know? Yeah, no worries, Eric. But yeah, Apple testing that 163 high level. Again, the earnings call is in about 21 minutes or so. Again, just to kind of give you a quick rundown on everything here. We're going to go over everything. So if you want to know kind of a specific metric from Apple's earnings report, listen to what I'm about to say. Apple dropped third quarter sales of $83 billion, third quarter EPS of $1.20, third quarter net sales of $19.44 billion, third quarter Mac revenue of $7.38 billion, third quarter services revenue of $19.6 billion, third quarter iPad revenue of $7.22 billion, third quarter iPhone revenue of $40.67 billion, third quarter product revenue of $63.36 billion, third quarter American revenue of $37.47 billion, third quarter European revenue of $19.29 billion, greater China revenue of $14.6 billion. So they're even doing some sales in China for Apple, which is good. Japan revenue of $5.45 billion, rest of the Asia Pacific countries at $6.15 billion. Wearable home sales and accessories revenue is up to $8.08 billion. Third quarter EPS was $1.20. Third quarter net We got all that stuff. Again, the CFO came out and said some stuff as well. He said they expect 6% hit from foreign exchange. They said that they see no demand slowdowns for iPhones, which should be an optimistic sign. They said that the CFO says they expect revenue to grow and continue to grow in the current quarter, to accelerate specifically, is what they said, in the current quarter. And they also said that wearables, accessories, home product sales are seeing demand weakness due to the current economy. And so, yeah, that's basically the third quarter results for Apple. Again, their earnings call is going to be in about 20 minutes, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, y'all hit that sub button. Yeah, for sure. I just don't understand it. Like I said, the biggest one that has me lately is Coinbase. You know, like, okay, Coinbase is one of those things. It's so beat up over the last 6 months. It's just kind of like, okay, well, to be honest, I'm kind of like that bottom feeder that's just going to come around and be like, should I buy Coinbase now? You know, I know people hate it, but it's like we've dropped so much already. It just seems to be like, if we're going to sell, should have sold 3 months ago, you know, not now. If we're going to hold it through this entire crash, you know, you might as well hold through it, in my opinion. Again, I might be wildly wrong. Maybe Coinbase fails, and, you know, that might be accurate, but I don't know. Problem with Apple is the new phone is a discretionary purchase. It's the first thing to postpone if you just got laid off. Yeah, for sure. But you know how it goes, man. They give you those upgrades and all that stuff. So a lot of people are going to be able to upgrade to it. And there's all those deals with the carrier. So do you know any good broker to trade futures in Ontario? Most of the major brokers are going to allow you to trade futures. I trade them on TD Ameritrade, you know, pretty often. I traded them yesterday on TD, on Thinkorswim. You got to get approved for it, but as long as you got some equity, you should be fine with that. You can do Schwab. I don't know. I don't think Webull offers them. Yeah. I've heard a very legit due diligence on Coinbase that regardless of where crypto goes, they're done. Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. So Apple pulling back. We got about 17 minutes, guys. 17 minutes before the earnings report and call. It really should be fun, man. What about TLRY, man? I see Benzinga covering Tilray. I want the cannabis market to do well, but again, it's one of those things where I just don't know if it's going to. And I've watched Tilray since it basically began as a company. I saw Tilray back in like 2018, 2017, rip all the way up to 300 and come right back down, stabilize at the single to double digits, and then kind of slowly start to regain some more notoriety and interest in the last like year or so. But with that said, I think most of these cannabis stocks are going to struggle until it's federally legalized. But there's also an argument on why federal legalization might hurt some of these stocks, specifically because, you know, if you open up the floodgates to the entire country of the U.S., that might open up competition to Tilray as well, right? And so it might actually be bad for them. But again, we're all speculating here. Let me know what you guys think on that topic. But Apple trying to bounce at 161.50s here. I still don't get it. The high rate of 75 basis points should lower price, but now the price becomes higher. I mean, okay, so 75 basis points was probably the best reaction. If they raised it more than that, it would cause too much short-term panic. If they raised it lower than that, people would fear long-term about inflationary problems. And so with all of that in mind, I think going with expectations in terms of rate hikes is probably the best short-term reaction. I think that's why we reacted okay to the 75 basis point rate increase from JP yesterday. And again, I think on par with expectations is the best outcome. Again, it's kind of a balancing act. If you post it too high of a rate hike, like 125 or whatever, then people are going to be really scared short term. It's going to really affect prices short term. If it's too low, people are going to fear inflation long term. And so I think this is the best balance, putting in, even though 75 basis points is ridiculously high to the universal standard, I still think that, you know, when you look at it objectively, I think a neutral 75 basis point on par with expectation rate hike is probably the best short-term reaction in my opinion. But again, you know, we're open to argue about it. I'm just guessing here. I made money. Fonz, we made money today. Small gains, but we made money. And again, guys, remember, we do day trade, swing trade, and invest every weekday morning right here on YouTube. And so we day trade 120,000 in BP without claiming to be an expert, without selling a course or service ourselves. We just give away everything for free. We trade live every day. We show you our trades. A lot of people don't. We show you our trades. And so if you appreciate that, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. We will stream the entire earnings call for Apple as well, which is in 14 minutes. So be ready for that also. Yeah, Friday tomorrow. Honestly, I'm going to enjoy the break, bro. I've been streaming a lot. We've been getting great growth and views from it, so I truly do appreciate it, man. Again, my big thing is, like, I just want to create a community here. I don't want to be some sleazy guru renting Lamborghinis to flex on the internet. I'd rather just be honest and not sell anything like that. And so, again, if you appreciate that, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. Let's keep growing together in the market, and let's let our wallets go as well, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, Victor. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with you, brother. Bitcoin coming down for a reason. I mean, Bitcoin was already up a lot. I think maybe Intel is bad for Bitcoin mining. You know, maybe the Intel drop is bad for cryptocurrency. I mean, I think there's an argument to be had there. But it looks like Bitcoin only recently dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes ago. And so did some news come out 9 minutes ago in the crypto world that would cause Bitcoin to drop down? Because again, you could speculate that the Intel drop is bad for microchips, and with that, bad for crypto mining. But I don't know. ETH is still at 1700s. That's great. Hey, no worries, Storm. Happy to help, bro. We appreciate the love, guys. We really do. Thank you, guys. Cheers to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well today. Again, we got the earnings call in about 13 minutes. The Amazon earnings call is at 4:30, guys. 4:30. All right, guys. So Apple at 162s. We got Amazon at 137s. Hit that like button. Hey, thank you, Storm. We appreciate it, man. What time do you guys go live every day? We start at 6:30 in the morning. We stream until about 10:30, 11 a.m. And then we also cover all the major earnings releases in the evening as well, plus all the major market meetings, FOMC meetings, CPI data, Fed minutes is going to be coming out in a few weeks. We're going to be covering that as well as big earnings next week also. So yeah, y'all hit the sub button. We appreciate it. Let's see what big earnings are next week. I know we have oil tomorrow, guys. So if you want to know the big earnings tomorrow, it's oil mostly. So it's I think it's like Chevron. Let me see. So I think it's like Chevron. Yeah, tomorrow we got Exxon, Chevron, P&G, AstraZeneca, Colgate, AbbVie, Cibo, Charter, Bloomin' Brands, Enbridge. So mostly oil. Exxon, Chevron, P&G are tomorrow. And then let me see. I know we had another one here. Let me figure out what it is. Okay, so next week, guys. Next week, let me make sure I'm on the right one. Yeah, so next week we've got Kellogg's, Activision, which will be fun. AMD, PayPal, BP, Marathon, Robinhood, Moderna, AMC, Fubo, Twilio, Block, DraftKings, a bunch of other ones. And then next week we got Unity, Roblox, BuzzFeed, a bunch of other ones too. So yeah, we still got some big earnings coming up, guys. Yeah, Victor, I mean, yeah, Robinhood, man. We'll see what happens with that one. That'll be fun day too, bro. All right, guys. Yeah, we got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Again, if you want to help me, follow me on Twitter. Easiest way to support the channel here. Give me a follow. Our earnings call is going to be in 10 minutes. Lone Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, we're going to stream it, but it's in 10 minutes, so we'll cover it. We just got to wait for it to start in 10 minutes. Bitcoin just broke over 24K, up to 2402s now. So Bitcoin over 24K. Great news for cryptocurrencies. Yeah, earnings for Amazon are out. Amazon earnings came in. I think Amazon had mixed results. They missed on EPS. They did better in sales, and they had on par guidance expectations on the high end of normal, on the high end of neutral. So I think they expected 126, and they showed 125 to 130. And so kind of on the higher end of neutral reaction to, or on the higher end of normal guidance. Mixed results aside from that. Again, EPS miss, so profitability miss, and then sales were better than expected for Amazon. Now here's the numbers right here. Yeah, EPS miss, sales were better than expected at 121.2 billion versus 119. And so sales beat by a decent amount. Third quarter sales guidance, again, 125 to 130 versus 126.4 billion expected. Adjusted EPS came in at 18-cent profit per share, beat the 13-cent estimate. Sales of 121. Again, beat the 129 numbers. Yeah, SPY calls are really going to be printing as long as Apple holds, as long as they don't say anything too crazy in the earnings call, and Amazon and everything else. Again, the big losers from today's earnings session were Intel and Roku. They missed on all metrics. Again, Intel missed on all metrics in both guidance, sales, and EPS. Same thing with Roku. Roku missed on all metrics as well in terms of the big three, which are EPS, sales, and revenue guidance. So they all missed on all three metrics there. So not good for Intel or Roku. They're down pretty big in pre-market as well. Yeah, I did see that, Dr. Phil. I did see that, man. Yeah, it'll be an interesting dynamic to watch. But again, like I said, it might open up the floodgates of competition. But again, the question is that going to be, are people going to want that type of stuff if it's that cheap, is the question there. And I don't know. Let me know. Yeah, is it BABA earnings next week as well? Let me check. There might be BABA earnings, might be the week after. Trying to keep track of all of them. Again, we got about 7 minutes until the earnings call, guys. Again, we got 7 minutes. Let me post this here. Again, Apple holding at 162.30s. Yeah, I know that marinara, Chris. I don't know. That's honestly, I read it. I read it with marinara in mind. I was like, oh man, Chris is going deep into the marinara industry. I love me some cheese sticks, bro. I'm just saying, I can't really eat them as much anymore because of freaking acid reflux. It's, as I get old, it sucks. I can't have my favorite things, which are pizza, pasta. My wife's Italian. We eat Italian food all the time, and unfortunately, I can't have tomato sauce anymore, but love me some marinara, sir. Yeah. I did just get back from Michigan a few weeks ago, and it was fun up there, not going to go too in depth, but yeah. BABA. Yeah, is it BABA having earnings? Let me see when BABA earnings are going to be. When is BABA earnings? Does anybody know? Let me check earnings whisper. August 4th, so next Thursday is BABA earnings. That'll be interesting too. Gonna be morning earnings as well for BABA. Yeah, man. No marinara for me, sir. But yeah, Apple up there to 162.50s. This is what we get. We got 5 minutes, guys. Earnings call starts at 5 minutes. Again, we're going to stream it live here as we do. All right, guys. 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes before the Apple earnings call. Again, it starts at 4 minutes. Apple up to 162.60s. Amazon starting to pull a U-shaped move up pattern, bullish pattern here is at 138, 138.75s are the highs of the day for Amazon. We're starting to creep up there. We'll see if we hold. I expect the market to jump in the morning, then sell off. Yeah, bullish or bearish market, guys. Let me know. Again, we got about 3 minutes until the earnings call. And again, we're going to stream the entire earnings call live as we do here, guys. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. We're going to stream the entire earnings call as we do. And again, let me know what you guys are watching now for Apple or Amazon. What are you guys expecting tomorrow? You know, again, we do have oil earnings tomorrow, which are going to impact markets. Usually they do, you know, aside from just basic aside from equities, oil is going to impact the futures markets as well. And so it'll be an interesting pre-market session, I think, tomorrow morning. And again, guys, we do stream these live every single weekday morning right here. So we stream everything. So we stream in the morning. We day trade live. We show you our trades. We trade every day. We don't claim to be experts or gurus. Everything is free here. And so hit the sub button. Hopefully you guys will join us tomorrow as well. And again, we're also about to cover the Apple earnings call also. Yeah, sorry, Victor. Sorry to hear that, bro. Again, man, there's always a new day. Impressive beard, homie. Oh, thank you, sir. Definitely top 3 beards in the world right now. Look at this thing, man. It's glorious, you know. Hey, thank you, Tay. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, all good, Chris. You know, 100%. You know, Apple just broke highs at 163.40s. All right, guys, 2 minutes. All right, guys. All right, guys. We got the Apple call. We're waiting to stream it live. We'll also cover the market reaction to it as it happens. So stick around. Yeah, Bob is on the 4th. All right, guys. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Again, for this earnings call, number one, as soon as the earnings call comes on, let me know if you can hear it. We're also going to stop the music as well, so you guys can actually hear what's going on in the earnings call, of course. We got less than a minute, so we're going to stop the music. And then again, let me know if you can hear. If you could hear the music, you're going to be able to hear the earnings call. And so, again, we're going to put it in sub-only mode. Again, support free trading content. There's a lot of gurus renting out Lamborghinis and mansions and trying to flex so they could sell you courses. We don't have any courses that cost any money. Everything we put out there is free. We don't sell a thing here. Everything we drop is free. And so if you appreciate that, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We are going to put it once we start the call. Since we're spending our time here, we're going to put it in sub-only mode. Subs of any time frame can talk to it in the chat. And so again, support free trading content. We are now in sub-only mode, and the call should be starting anytime. Let me know if you can hear it once we do start it. But we should be starting anytime now. Make sure we're live on there. And yeah, should be starting in about 30 seconds or less. Good news from Apple or Amazon. Bullish or bearish, guys? Let me know. Vote on the poll as well. All right, so there's the 4 p.m. dot level. Let me mute this, and I'll get it ready so you guys can hear it as soon as we get it. Hold on one second. All right, nothing yet. And so nothing yet for Apple. Just again, waiting for the numbers to come out. Y'all can't hear that, or at least you shouldn't be able to, hopefully. And so again, we don't have anything yet. Still waiting for these numbers to come out. Nothing yet. Our earnings call hasn't started yet, so it should start sometime in the next 60 seconds. Again, let me know what you guys think. Apple just broke highs. Is at just under 164. Got all the way up to 163.95. Again, earnings call still has not started yet. I got some terrible music playing in the background, but that's okay. All right, guys. I think it's about to start.
3 FY
Can you hear this?
2022 earnings conference call.
How's sound?
Today's call is being recorded. At this
Sound
time,
check.
for opening remarks and introductions, I would like to turn the call over to Tejas Gala, Director of Investor Relations and Corporate Finance. Please go ahead.
Sound check. All right, we're just they're silent. It's not me, so they just haven't said anything yet. So we're still waiting for them to come on. Hey, thank you, SM. I'm not sure, SM. I really don't know, man. It depends on what strike price, what call option, all that good stuff. Again, they came on and they just didn't say anything, so I don't know if they're having technical problems or what. But it's not on my end, guys. Not on my end. Let's refresh it, and we'll try to get it to make sure it's not my end here. Yeah, they're just quiet. Odd. So yeah, their phone died. I don't know what's going on now. Yeah, again, the Apple's call is live, but they're just not saying anything. I've never seen this. They're just kind of quiet. Again, I keep refreshing it just to be safe, but they're not saying anything, man. Somebody key the Jeopardy music. Apple, where are you at? It's playing right now. Again, we're live right now. Yeah, they must be on the iPhone right now, but it's not. Again, the call is live, guys. And so if you think that it's just me and my audio is broken, it ain't me. Y'all can check everywhere else. For whatever reason, they're just not talking. Maybe having some technical difficulties. Let me get my Android out real quick and see what happens. But the call's live. Again, for whatever reason, you know. For whatever reason, you know, they're struggling with their earnings call. Yeah, I got it open 2 different pages, and both pages it's down. Not sure why. There we go. It's back.
Today's call is being recorded.
There we go. Now it's back.
At this time, for opening remarks and introductions, I would like to turn the call over to Tejas Gala, Director
Sound
of
good?
Investor Relations and Corporate Finance. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Speaking first today is Apple CEO Tim Cook, and he'll be followed by CFO Luca Maestri. After that, we'll open the call to questions from analysts. Please note that some of the information you'll hear during the discussion today will consist of forward-looking statements, including, without limitation, those regarding revenue, gross margin, operating expenses, other income and expense, taxes, capital allocation, and future business outlook, including the potential impact of COVID-19 on the company's business and results of operation. These statements involve risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results or trends to differ materially from our forecast. For more information, please refer to the risk factors discussed in Apple's most recently filed annual report on Form 10-K and the Form 8-K filed with the SEC today, along with the associated press release. Apple assumes no obligation to update any forward-looking statements or information which speak as of their respective dates. I'd now like to turn the call over to Tim for introductory remarks.
Thank you, Tejas. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, Apple is reporting another record June quarter with revenue of $83 billion, which was better than we expected despite supply constraints, strong foreign exchange headwinds, and the impact of our business in Russia. We set June quarter records in the Americas, in Europe, and in the rest of Asia Pacific region. We also saw June quarter revenue records in both developed and emerging markets, with very strong double-digit growth in Brazil, Indonesia, and Vietnam, and a near doubling of revenue in India. We saw great enthusiasm for our products and services, resulting in an all-time record for our installed base of active devices. Our supply constraints were less than we anticipated at the beginning of the quarter, coming in slightly below the range we discussed during our last call. We know that this is a time of significant challenge around the world, for all of us confronting new variants of COVID-19, to those experiencing a prolonged humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, and everyone dealing with the consequences of an uncertain economic environment. We know that much of the world is living through uneasy times, and it is all the more reason why we are working hard to help our customers navigate the world as it is, while empowering them to create the world as it can be. Turning to iPhone, we set a June quarter record for both revenue and switchers to iPhone. With its advanced performance, capability, and ease of use, customers continue to find that iPhone remains the gold standard for smartphones. And they've been raving about the iPhone 13 lineup's extraordinary camera quality, with features like cinematic mode and macro photography to create eye-catching content. We were also proud to celebrate the 15th anniversary of iPhone, a device that continues to change the world in profound ways with each new innovation. Last month, Apple unleashed a wave of innovation, including the completely redesigned MacBook Air and a new 13-inch MacBook Pro. Both of these systems are powered by M2, our next generation of Apple silicon for Mac. M2 delivers a faster CPU, GPU, and neural engine, along with higher memory bandwidth and new capabilities like ProRes acceleration. And it continues the tremendous pace of innovation in Apple silicon for the Mac. We continue to have supply constraints with Mac, but we're encouraged by the strong response from customers to our incredible lineup. iPad, like Mac, continued to see strong demand during the June quarter despite ongoing supply constraints. Customers and developers have been especially excited about the new features we're bringing to iPad with iPadOS 16. This update was one of the many announcements we made at a truly extraordinary WWDC, where we shared a range of new features that give customers more control of their experience than ever before. This includes the ability to edit or delete sent messages, a new way of organizing apps on iPad and Mac, and an all-new customizable lock screen on iPhone, and so much more. Today, iOS 16, iPadOS 16, macOS Ventura, and watchOS 9 are all in public beta, and we couldn't be more excited to see what our community of developers creates with them. We unveiled new innovations in accessibility, such as door detection and live captions, that support users with disabilities with navigation, health, communication, and more. We also announced Apple Pay Later, which gives customers more flexibility to make purchases with their Apple devices. And with our next generation of CarPlay, we're improving the driving experience with deeper integration into vehicle hardware, allowing drivers to control their music, change the temperature, and monitor their fuel levels, all from a single integrated platform. In the wearables, home, and accessories category, the innovation infused across our products continues to win over new customers. Apple Watch remains a great way for health-conscious customers to track their overall wellness and fitness, and we're bringing them even more data about their workouts, sleep cycles, and medications with updates soon to arrive on watchOS 9. We were also pleased to get FDA approval for a new feature that will let users with irregular heart rhythms track the time they spend in AFib. Turning to services, customers continue to engage enthusiastically with our content across news, fitness, music, gaming, and more. Services revenue rose to $19.6 billion, a June quarter record, and a 12% increase year over year, which was in line with our expectations. We're proud of how Apple TV Plus productions like Severance and Blackbird have captured the popular imagination, and we're looking forward to more exceptional content developed by extraordinary creators throughout the year. In 2.5 years since launch, Apple TV Plus has now earned 250 wins and over 1,100 award nominations and counting. Just this month, we learned that Apple TV Plus earned 52 Emmy Award nominations across 13 titles. In our last call, I mentioned Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, which is already delighting baseball fans. And last month, we announced a 10-year deal to present Major League Soccer matches around the world, giving global soccer fans a whole new way of viewing their favorite sport. One of the best parts of WWDC was welcoming developers to Apple Park while continuing to connect with developers all over the world. This year, we had an incredible group of developers and more opportunities to learn from one another than ever before. It was a truly special experience and a reminder of the economic miracle the App Store represents. We are proud of the fact that the iOS app economy supports more than 2.2 million jobs here in the United States and many more around the world. It's been wonderful to see earnings by small developers more than double over the past 2 years. And as we're supporting developers, we're also doing our part to protect customers. In 2021, we prevented nearly $1.5 billion in fraudulent transactions by stopping over 1.6 million risky and vulnerable apps and app updates. Now I want to turn to retail. This quarter, we opened the doors to Apple's first store in the Hubei province in China, welcoming the community to a beautiful new space. And earlier today, we opened Apple Brompton Road, our 5th store in central London. We also expanded Today at Apple Creative Studios to reach even more young creatives from underrepresented communities to help them realize their potential and bring their best ideas to life. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to our team members working in Apple stores, customer care centers, and channel partner stores, and to our Apple Care teams for their incredible work supporting customers wherever they are. Creating innovative products and services that enrich people's lives is our mission. Leading with our values in everything we do gives that mission purpose. That includes a commitment to the environment, where we continue our aggressive pursuit of our 2030 goals. It includes our focus on diversity and inclusion, where we are committed as ever to making progress. And it includes our work to promote racial equity and justice. We recently announced that the Global Equity Innovation Hub, in partnership with Cal State Northridge, will provide new community grants to Hispanic-serving institutions to help the next generation of creators and innovators build skills and pursue high-demand careers in STEM. We also celebrated the graduation of the inaugural class of our Developer Academy in Detroit, from a program designed to give students the skills they need to pursue jobs in the thriving iOS app economy. Leading with our values also means leading with a steadfast commitment to privacy and security. Last month, we announced the introduction of Passkey, a next-generation credential that's intended to replace passwords. A passkey can't be phished, nor can it be stolen by hackers in a data breach, because the information is stored on your device and your device alone. And as part of our effort to combat targeted attacks against the highest risk targets, like journalists and human rights activists, we introduced lockdown mode, which is designed to protect those most at risk of sophisticated digital attacks. And we're committed to doing our part to address the housing crisis across California. To date, we have deployed more than $1.3 billion to a number of initiatives, including ones that provide financial assistance to low and moderate income first-time home buyers, develop new affordable housing, and help support vulnerable populations. This quarter has ultimately been a reflection of our resilience and our optimism. As we look forward, we're clear-eyed about the uncertainty in the macro environment. Yet we remain ever focused on the same vision that has guided us from the beginning. We strive every day to be a place where imagination ignites innovation like nowhere else, where good people come together to achieve great things, where customers are the center of everything we do. And we'll continue to execute on that vision as we always have, led by a focus on excellence and a desire to leave the world better than we found it. And with that, I'll turn it over to Luca.
Thank you, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone. We are very pleased to report June quarter financial results that continue to demonstrate our ability to innovate across hardware, software, and services while operating our business effectively during very challenging economic circumstances. We set a June quarter revenue record of $83 billion, up 2% year over year, despite supply constraints, over 300 basis points of foreign exchange headwinds, and the impact of our business in Russia. Around the world, we set new June quarter records in the Americas, in Europe, and rest of Asia Pacific. On the product side, revenue was $63.4 billion, with a June quarter revenue record for iPhone. During the quarter, our installed base of active devices continued to grow well, thanks to our unmatched levels of customer satisfaction and loyalty, and reached an all-time high for all major product categories and geographic segments. Our services set a June quarter revenue record of $19.6 billion, up 12% over a year ago, with all-time revenue records in the Americas and the rest of Asia Pacific, and June quarter records in Europe and Greater China. We also achieved June quarter revenue records in each major services category, including all-time revenue records for music, cloud services, Apple Care, and payment services. Company gross margin was 43.3%, down 40 basis points from last quarter, as seasonal loss of leverage and unfavorable foreign exchange were partially offset by favorable mix. Products gross margin was 34.5%, down 190 basis points sequentially, mainly driven by seasonal loss of leverage, mix, and FX. Services gross margin was 71.5%, down 110 basis points sequentially, due to a different mix and foreign exchange. Net income was $19.4 billion, and diluted earnings per share were $1.20, while operating cash flow of $22.9 billion was a June quarter record. Let me now get into more detail for each of our revenue categories. iPhone revenue grew 3% year over year to a June quarter record of $40.7 billion, despite foreign exchange headwinds, as customer response to our iPhone 13 family continued to be strong. We set June quarter records in both developed and emerging markets, and the iPhone active installed base reached a new all-time high across all geographies as a result of this level of sales performance combined with unmatched customer loyalty. In fact, the latest survey of US consumers from 451 Research indicates iPhone customer satisfaction of 98%. We also attracted a record number of switchers for the June quarter, with strong double-digit year-over-year growth. For Mac, we generated revenue of $7.4 billion, despite supply constraints and negative effects. We continue to be excited about our long-term opportunity with Mac and redefining the PC experience with our relentless innovation. Our investment focus on Mac has helped drive significant growth in our installed base, which reached an all-time high during the June quarter, as nearly half of the customers purchasing a Mac were new to the product. iPad revenue was $7.2 billion, down 2% year over year due to supply constraints and negative foreign exchange. Customer response to our iPad lineup continued to be strong across consumer, education, and enterprise markets around the world. And the iPad installed base reached a new all-time high, with over half of the customers during the quarter being new to the product. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue was $8.1 billion, down 8% year over year, as we faced foreign exchange headwinds, different launch timing for home and accessories products, and supply constraints, as well as the overall macroeconomic environment. Despite this, Our installed base of devices in the category hit a new all-time record thanks to very strong customer loyalty and high new-to rates. For example, Apple Watch continues to extend its reach, with over 2/3 of customers purchasing an Apple Watch during the quarter being new to the product. Services had a June quarter revenue record of $19.6 billion, up 12% despite almost 500 basis points of FX headwinds, as well as impacts from our business in Russia and the macroeconomic environment. We set June quarter revenue records in both developed and emerging markets and set all-time records in many countries around the world, including the US, Mexico, Brazil, Korea, and India. The record level of performance of our services portfolio during the June quarter reflects the strength of our ecosystem on many fronts. First, our installed base has continued to grow, reaching an all-time high across each geographic segment and major product category. We also saw increased customer engagement with our services during the quarter. Our transacting accounts, paid accounts, and accounts with paid subscriptions all grew double digits year over year. And paid subscriptions showed very strong growth. We now have more than 860 million paid subscriptions across the services on our platform, which is up more than 160 million during the last 12 months alone. And finally, we continue to improve the breadth and the quality of our current services offerings, from a constant flow of new content on Apple TV Plus and Apple Arcade to great new features we recently announced for iCloud and Apple Music, which we believe our customers will love. In the enterprise market, our customers are increasingly investing in Apple products as a strategy to attract and retain talent. Bank of America is providing iPhones to all of its Merrill financial advisors so they can instantly access client information and provide timely wealth management advice from anywhere. Wipro, another large global enterprise customer, is investing in MacBook Air with M1 as a competitive advantage when recruiting new graduates globally, thanks to its superior performance and lower total cost of ownership. And with the new M2 chip powering MacBook Air and the 13-inch MacBook Pro, we expect more customers to make Mac available to their entire workforce. Let me now turn to our cash position. We ended the quarter with $179 billion in cash and marketable securities. We repaid $3 billion in maturing debt while increasing commercial paper by $4 billion, leaving us with total debt of $120 billion. As a result, net cash was nearly $60 billion at the end of the quarter. We returned over $28 billion to shareholders during the June quarter. This included $3.8 billion in dividends and equivalents and $21.7 billion through open market repurchases of 143 million Apple shares. We continue to believe there is great value in our stock and maintain our target of reaching a net cash neutral position over time. As we move ahead into the September quarter, I'd like to review our outlook, which includes the types of forward-looking information that Tejas referred to at the beginning of the call. Given the continued uncertainty around the world in the near term, we're not providing revenue guidance, but we are sharing some directional insights based on the assumption that the macroeconomic outlook and COVID-related impacts to our business do not worsen from what we are projecting today for the current quarter. Overall, we believe our year-over-year revenue growth will accelerate during the September quarter compared to the June quarter, despite approximately 600 basis points of negative year-over-year impact from foreign exchange. On the product side, we expect supply constraints to be lower than what we experienced during the June quarter. Specifically related to services, we expect revenue to grow but decelerate from the June quarter due to macroeconomic factors and foreign exchange. We expect gross margin to be between 41.5% and 42.5%. We expect OpEx to be between $12.9 and $13.1 billion. We expect OI&E to be around negative $100 million, excluding any potential impact from the mark-to-market of minority investments, and our tax rate to be around 16%. Finally, today, our board of directors has declared a cash dividend of 23 cents per share of common stock, payable on August 11, 2022, to shareholders of record as of August 8, 2022. With that, let's open the call to questions.
Thank you, Luca. We ask that you limit yourself to 2 questions. Operator, may we have the first question, please?
Absolutely. We'll take our first question from Amit Daryanani with Evercore.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for taking my question. I guess 2 from my side. Maybe to start off on the gross margin discussion, Luca. You started implying gross margin will be down, I think 130, 140 basis points sequentially and down a bit year over year as well in September. Maybe just what are the puts and takes here, and then very specifically, you actually just call it what the FX headwinds are embedded in the September quarter gross margins. That would be helpful.
Yes, Amit. We're guiding 41.5 to 42.5. On a sequential basis, the decline is expected to be driven by, as you mentioned, foreign exchange, but also mix, which will be partially offset by better leverage. We expect the foreign exchange impact on a sequential basis to be 50 basis points. If you look at it from a year-over-year standpoint, we are in the same ballpark of a year ago, in spite of the fact the foreign exchange is going to be 130 basis points negative to a year ago. So clearly, foreign exchange is something that is affecting us, but we think we're navigating that fairly well.
Fair enough. And then, if I could just ask Tim the question, there's a lot of macro worries and high inflation impacting consumer demand. Certainly doesn't seem to be very visible in your performance and your expectations. So I wonder if you talk about, are you seeing any implications from recession fears or inflation fears to your end demand? And maybe just related to that, variables decline was notable. Is that where you would typically see initial signs of consumer softening, perhaps?
Thanks for the question. Yeah, if I'm not an economist, and so I'll sort of narrow my comments to what we saw in the business. And if you look at the June quarter, we do believe that we saw macroeconomic headwinds that impacted our business and our results. And so one of those is clearly the FX, which Lucas mentioned, that was over 300 basis points on year-over-year growth rates. When you look at the product categories, on iPhone, there was no obvious evidence of macroeconomic impact during the June quarter, besides FX, obviously. Mac and iPad were so gated by supply that we didn't have enough product to test the demand. And wearables, home, and accessories, as you mentioned, and as Luca mentioned, we did see some impact there that we would attribute to macroeconomic environment. When you then look at services, there were some services that were impacted. For example, like digital advertising was clearly impacted by the macroeconomic environment. And so it's a mixed bag in terms of what we believe that we saw. Overall, we're very happy with the results. And when you think about the number of challenges in the quarter, we feel really good about the growth that we put up for the quarter.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Can we have the next question, please?
We'll take our next question from Harsh Kumar with Piper Sandler.
Yeah. Hey, first of all, congratulations. These are tough times. You guys are putting up, tremendous results. So we appreciate that as investors. My question is, when I look at your services business, I see a $20 billion business, on a quarterly basis. And you keep adding, as a company, very interesting and transformative features such as payments, something like that every year. So I'm struggling to find a good way to think about how to model the growth of this business, considering that you add innovative features. So now that it's fairly matured as a business, what would be a good way for us to think about as investors to to model the services business? And I do have a follow-up.
Well, as you know, we don't provide guidance past the current quarter, but I think the way to think about it, certainly the way we think about it, is that there's a number of levers in our services business to take into account. The first one is the installed base. Installed base is the engine for our company, and it continues to grow. As I mentioned, it has reached an all-time high across every geographic segment, across every product category, and so that's very important. Then the second lever is the customer engagement, and we know that our customers are getting more and more engaged over time. Transacting accounts, paid subscriptions are growing. So the level of engagement continues to grow. And then, as you mentioned, the breadth and the quality of the services that we offer tends to grow over time. So these are all things that tend to help us over the long term. If you go back and you look at our growth rates over a number of quarters now, they've always been very good. Of course, the macro environment can have an impact on this business. Tim has mentioned, for example, digital advertising can be affected at times. During COVID, some of the compares have been a bit lumpy because there have been lockdowns and reopenings and so on. So it's very difficult to talk about, a steady state growth rate for our services business. But when we look at the entirety of what we're doing in the services space, we feel very good about the future of the business.
Luca, very helpful. Thank you. And for my follow-up, valuations have come down in the last 18 months or so for, things and companies and targets that you might look at. I guess, particularly in the services area, would there be an appetite on behalf of Apple to accelerate the growth of its services business by looking at external products to acquire?
We always look, and we, ask ourselves if it's how strategic it is, and we never buy just to buy or buy just for revenue purposes. But we would buy something that is strategic for us. To date, we have concentrated on smaller IP and people acquisitions, but I wouldn't rule anything out for the future, and obviously we're constantly surveilling the market.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Harsh. Can we have the next question, please?
We'll take our next question from Eric Woodring with Morgan Stanley.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for taking my questions here. I have two as well. Maybe, Tim, if I start with you, I think there's a debate in the market that if you look back over time, there's been a 3-year cadence to iPhone cycles. We're 2 years into your 5G iPhone evolution. You're on track to grow units in 21 and 22. That implies there could be some pressure next year as upgrade rates slow. But your comments really suggest no slowdown. You're seeing double-digit growth in customers new to iPhone. So can you just walk us through some of the various factors you believe are driving this continued iPhone strength? And then I have a follow-up. Thanks.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the product and the innovation within the product that is driving it. And of course, the other key variables are some things that Luca mentioned earlier, with the size of the installed base has been growing significantly. We also, just in this quarter, the June quarter, set a June quarter record for switchers with strong double-digit growth. And so this is fueling the additional install base even more. And we continue to execute across some significant geographies where there's very low penetration of iPhones. Some of those were called out in the opening remarks, between Indonesia and Vietnam and India, where we did quite well, and iPhone tends to be the engine for those markets, particularly at the beginning of creating the market there for Apple products. And so we're really looking at all of these things, from the install base to the number of switchers to the geographic distribution. Of course, the most important thing for us is to maintain and incredible customer satisfaction and loyalty from the customers. And we're really pleased that it's currently at 98% for the latest iPhones. And so those are the things that underpin it. 5G has been an accelerant, and the 5G penetration, particularly if you look at it globally, is still quite low. In some geographies, it's obviously higher, but around the world, 5G penetration is still low. And so I think there's reason to be optimistic.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
And then maybe Luca, for you, as we move from the June to the September quarter, maybe can you dig a level deeper and kind of help us understand some of the moving pieces in the services business, meaning, where do you think we could see an acceleration or maybe a deceleration? And should we still expect double-digit growth? If you could just frame that for us, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Yes, Eric. I mentioned in my prepared remarks that we expect some deceleration from the 12% that we've had in the June quarter. Keep in mind, we're gonna see on a year-over-year basis 600 basis points, 6% impact from foreign exchange. So that is, a big element for us. Also keep in mind that we're still lapping the impact of our business in Russia in these numbers. And Tim mentioned that there are some pockets of weakness, primarily in digital advertising, that we will need to work through. But at the same time, our services business a year ago grew a lot, and so also the compare is a bit challenging. So we don't have a very specific number to give out today. Of course, we expect to grow. We will see how the quarter develops.
Awesome. Thank you, Luca.
Thanks. Can we have the next question, please?
We will take our next question from Richard Kramer with Arete Research.
Thank you very much. Tim, you've cited growth in Apple App Store ads in the past, and clearly the privacy policies you've taken have really reshaped the mobile ad market. Can you give us a sense of how you see Apple's role as an ad network and perhaps helping developers to monetize not just app sales, but also growing ad monetization over time? Thanks.
Yeah, Richard, we view privacy as a fundamental human right. And so what we try to do with all of our features on privacy is put the decision back at the user where we believe it belongs as to whether they want to share their data or not. And so that was what was behind application tracking transparency and a number of other features. We're trying to empower the user to own their data and make their own choices. In terms of us selling ads, we have a search ad business across the App Store that we believe represents a great way for discovery for small and large developers. And so I see that we play a role in that.
Thanks. And then maybe my follow-up for Luca, can you give us a sense, especially now that you're launching Pay Later, what steps you might be taking to improve affordability of Apple products? We know that it's going to be a tight time economically for people around the world. And how do you see the evolution of various payment plans out of that you see in the U.S. now into other markets, especially emerging markets?
Yes, I mean, obviously, affordability is a very important topic for us. It's been for many years. Buy Now, Pay Later is the latest that we're doing on this front. Fundamentally, we are working on two major initiatives for affordability. One is installment plans, and installment plans have become more widespread around the world, not only here in the United States, but in most markets, but particularly in emerging markets, incredibly important in terms of reducing the affordability threshold, and trade-in programs. Trade-in programs are available in a number of markets. We can do better in other markets. They're incredibly important because the residual value of our products is a huge differentiator for our users. After they use our devices, they can bring them back and they retain much more value than other platforms. And therefore, it's important for us to raise that awareness. And so we will continue to expand those programs around the world. So installments and trade-ins, very, very important on affordability.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Can we have the next question, please?
We'll take our next question from David Voigt with UBS.
Great. Thanks, guys, for taking my question. I just wanted to circle back on sort of the macro and sort of the demand signals that you're seeing versus sort of the supply chains that you're facing. I know that there's been a couple of U.S. carriers that have talked about some of their customers having some difficulty paying bills. And you mentioned in your prepared remarks that you saw sort of the record number of switchers in the quarter. So I just wanted to kind of get a sense for what you're seeing in that particular channel without naming a specific customer. And are you seeing any sort of issues from a spin down effect, maybe because customers are having some difficulty because of inflation? And then I have a follow-up on Macs.
From an aggregate point of view, looking at it worldwide, looking at the data on iPhone for the June quarter, there's not obvious evidence in there that there's a macroeconomic headwind. I'm not saying that there's not one. I'm saying that the data doesn't show it, where we can clearly see that in the wearables, home accessories area. And so I would differentiate those two.
Great. And then on the Mac business, I know that you're severely supply chain constrained, but is there a way to kind of think about, the impact of the market overall on the Mac business versus the supply chain? It sounds like it's almost effectively 100% supply chain constraints, but we're obviously hearing, like I'm sure you guys are seeing, anecdotal evidence and some quantifiable evidence that the broader PC market is slowing. And I think about 90 days ago, you were pretty confident with the new M2 chip that you could continue to grow throughout a potential drawdown in that particular market. Do you still feel that way? And if you can kind of share how you're thinking about the different sort of components of your growth versus the market. Thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to project into this quarter, but for last quarter, what we saw was when the COVID restrictions hit in the Shanghai corridor, we lost the primary source of supply for Mac units, and that was either running at a reduced rate or down completely for the majority of the quarter. And so it was a very big impact to the Mac business. We felt good, frankly, that we were able to, by the end of the quarter, get this back to where we were down 10 points. And but the -10 I would classify as being driven by supply, and of course FX feeds into this as well because of the translation issues around the world. There's also some impact because of the business in Russia, but those are the three kind of reasons that I would tell you. In terms of testing the demand, you can't really test the demand unless you have the supply. And we were so far from that last quarter that, we have an estimate of what we believe the demand was, but it is an estimate. We recognize how the industry is doing. We think that we've got a great story with the Mac, with getting M1 out and now M2 out. We have a very, very strong offering for the back to school season, and we'll see how we do this quarter. We'll report back in October.
Great, thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Thank you. Can we have the next question, please?
We'll take our next question from Ben Bollin with Cleveland Research. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the question. Tim, I was hoping you could share a little bit more about how you're thinking about the supply headwinds. You said less severe or less worse supply challenges into September. I'm interested when you think you find balance across products, and also any thoughts on how or when that might influence replenishment of supply into your retail channels.
To give you a little more color on what we saw in the June quarter, we came in slightly below, from a constraint point of view, the 4 billion number that we had put at the 4 to 8, or the low end of that range. And the majority of that constraint last quarter was coming out of the COVID restrictions that occurred, that resulted in plant closures and plants running at less than full utilization for some amount of the quarter, in some cases, the majority of the quarter. And then the other component that is the minority part of it is the silicon shortage that has affected our results for several quarters now. If you look into the future, the silicon shortage, we're not forecasting when that will end. We think that in the aggregate, our constraint numbers for the September quarter will be less than they were in the June quarter. And but of the two, there are these two components, and of course we're optimistic about the COVID restriction piece of this.
Okay. The other item, Tim, any thoughts on how your thinking strategy is evolving with respect to progress in AR, VR in your existing products? Anything you're learning about content or how you're thinking about that opportunity?
We're thrilled right now to have over 14,000 ARKit apps in the App Store, and they're providing incredible AR experiences for millions of people. And that's utilizing iPhone and iPad. And of course, we're in the business of innovation, so we're always exploring new and emerging technologies, but I wouldn't want to say anything beyond that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Ben. Can we have the next question, please?
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Wamsi Mohan with Bank of America.
Yes, thank you so much. Luca, you mentioned revenues to accelerate year over year overall in September versus your June growth rate. Would you say that it would be reasonable to assume normal quarter-on-quarter seasonality of about 7 billion or so, or would you say there are additional puts and takes this time around that would drive upside and downside to that? I know you noted 600 bits year over year on FX as potentially one of those, but maybe help us think through on a sequential basis how much of a normal versus abnormal seasonality we should expect. I have a follow-up.
Yes, well, as you know, as we said earlier, we're not providing guidance because of all the uncertainty out there. But we have given a few data points. So one of them, which you've mentioned, approximately 600 basis points of negative foreign exchange. I mean, you do a rough math, it's around $5 billion. That's a big number right there that is going to affect us. We are having some impact from the situation in Russia, and that is obviously different from normal seasonality as well. Our supply constraints, as Tim just said, are going to be lower than what we've seen in the June quarter, but they're still going to be there. So when you look at those three headwinds and you combine them with the acceleration that we talked about, we feel that that is pretty remarkable.
Okay, thank you, Luca. And Tim, I want to follow up on your comment about the macro impact that you've seen on wearables. Your wearables portfolio is probably at the lowest ASP range across your product portfolio. As you're giving this guidance or directional guidance here, how much of an impact are you assuming in potentially any macro-related slowdowns across the rest of the portfolio? Why would investors not think that it would be prudent to assume some sort of creep up of some of the hesitation, maybe that the macro environment is driving, particularly as it pertains to your higher ASP products?
Yeah, let me expand a little bit on wearables, home, and accessories so that I clearly communicate what we saw. We saw sort of a cocktail of headwinds on wearables, home, and accessories. We saw FX, which we've talked about. We saw supply constraints, which we've talked about. Of course, there was an impact from the business in Russia. But in addition to those things, which those things affected all the products to some degree, we also had a different launch timing for certain home and accessory products. Like in the year ago quarter, I think had AirTag in it. That's just one example of something that announced last year that didn't announce this, that we didn't have a comparable announcement this year. So in addition to those four items, we believe based on the data that there was also a macroeconomic environment hit. And whether or not that is because they're lower ASPs versus the higher ASPs of a phone, I can't tell you that. I can just tell you that looking at the numbers, there does appear to be headwinds in addition to the four items that we can articulate, and we believe those to be macroeconomic headwinds.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wamsi. Can we have the next question, please?
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Samik Chatterjee with JP Morgan.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for taking my questions. And congrats on the results in this tough macro. I guess I wanted to start with China smartphone market here a bit. And Tim, I thought you said in response to an earlier question that you haven't really seen a material impact of the macro on iPhone yet, but wondering, did you see an impact of the COVID lockdowns there on demand itself, or was there a snapback following that? If you can comment about the sort of exit run rate that you saw in that market following the COVID shutdowns ending there. Thank you. And I have a follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, both things are true. We did see a lower demand based on the COVID lockdowns in the cities that the COVID lockdowns affected. And we did see a rebound in those same cities toward the end of the quarter in the June timeframe, and in particular in the run up to June 18th, which, as you know, is a major shopping holiday in China. We think that the net of that was still a negative, but some of it did rebound by June timeframe. The restrictions began to come off toward the beginning of June, if my memory is correct.
And for my follow-up, I know you said you don't want to sort of predict the macro here or be an economist, but if I go back and look at the sort of OPEX for the last few years, you've been increasing that by a double-digit percentage. And just given the uncertainty that you've talked about in the macro for on this call a lot, how are you thinking about sort of that investment base going forward? Are you trying to look at areas where you can sort of pull back? I mean, just in terms of how you're preparing for the uncertainty, as I guess the question.
We believe in investing through the downturn, and so we'll continue to hire people and invest in areas, but we are being more deliberate in doing so, in recognition of the realities of the environment.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Can we have the next question, please?
We'll take our next question from Jim Suva with Citigroup.
Thank you, Tim. While I'm calling you on my iPhone 13 Max Pro and loving it, I just wanted to ask you though, with replacement cycles, have you noticed any change now that we've been through like 2.5 years of COVID? Were people upgrading at a different rate, and kind of post-COVID, hopefully, upgrade cycles or replacement cycles, how we should kind of think about that? Obviously, when I drop and break my phone, I replace it immediately. But a normal replacement, have they changed at all? Any insights from that would be great.
It's, it's challenging to measure the replacement cycle at any point in time with exact precision. And so I'm going to punt on the question a bit. However, our key task is to make a product that everybody loves and that they want to trade in their current phone to get. And so that's what we're focused on, is innovating like crazy and giving somebody something that they really want and see themselves using.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, then maybe I can ask Luca a question more on the gross margins. As you look ahead, the supply chain issues, expedited shipping, and all of that, do you think probably the September quarter is kind of the worst of FX and all those headwinds and things? Or is there a little bit of timing delays due to your contractual purchase commitments that you do, that maybe your suppliers are looking at higher costs and you're benefiting from some lower contracts, or maybe that has already caught up? If you could give us some insights on the kind of longer term nature of the directions or the gross margin impacts.
Jim, I would say, we provide guidance for the current quarter, but if we look ahead, there's always a couple of elements in gross margin that are a bit outside of our control, and we need to be mindful of that. One of them is the foreign exchange environment. That is, having an impact already for the September quarter. It had an impact on June, and obviously strong dollar tends to be a headwind for us. As you know, we have a hedging program, and so we mitigate that impact. But over time, those hedges roll off, and so it becomes more challenging for us. We'll see, what happens with foreign exchange rates over time. That is going to be a variable that we need to track. The other one that has an impact on the aggregate gross margin is our mix of products and services. As you know, they have different margin profiles for very different reasons, different businesses, even different accounting treatment at times. And so that is also something that we will need to track over time. What matters to us, I think it goes back to Tim was saying earlier, is we want to make sure that people love our products and services, and we want all of them to be equally successful in the marketplace. Certainly, as you've seen over the last year, we've had a significant expansion in gross margins in spite of very difficult economic circumstances, from COVID to, inflation, interest rates going up, and our margins have expanded. From a commodity standpoint, I think you were asking the question around components. Commodities are behaving okay. We're seeing some price pressure on some silicon components, but other than that, actually commodities are behaving well.
Thank you, Tim and Luca, for the color, and congratulations to you and all your team members.
Thank you.
Thanks. Can we have the next question, please?
Take our next question from Krish Sankar with Cowen and Company.
Yeah, hi, thanks for taking my question. And Tim, I apologize, it's also macro related. You mentioned that it impacted digital advertising within services. I'm just kind of curious, if the macro does worsen, do you worry about subscriber growth, app store purchases, etc.? And conversely, are there any parts of the service business that you consider recession proof, like maybe a buy now, pay later or something else? And then I had a quick follow-up for Luca.
We have incorporated all of our thoughts in the guidance that Luca gave, which says that we think in the aggregate we're going to accelerate revenues in the September quarter as compared to the June quarter, and will decelerate on the services side. And so we see the digital advertising cloud, if you will, continuing in the current quarter.
Got it. Got it. Very helpful. And then a quick follow-up on the lockdown in China during the June quarter. Did you actually see any noticeable negative effects on your App Store revenue for the region, or any positive effects like maybe more gaming downloads?
China had very good results on services last quarter. And so they grew strong double digit, better than the company average. And they set a new June quarter revenue record during the quarter.
Got it. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. A replay of today's call will be available for 2 weeks on Apple Podcasts, as a webcast on apple.com/investor, and via telephone. The numbers for the telephone replay are 888-203-1112 or 719-457-0820. Please enter confirmation code 8820355. These replays will be available by approximately 5 p.m. Pacific time today. Members of the press with additional questions can contact Josh Rosenstock at 408-862-1142. Financial analysts can contact me with additional questions at 669-227-2402. Thank you again for joining us.
All right, team. So we're going to go ahead and close it down. We appreciate all the support today. We've grown like crazy over, the last few days. So we really, truly appreciate the support. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning as we do. Streaming our, day trading live $30,000 account, showing you our trades, showing you our P&L, all that good stuff at the opening bell, breaking down what's moving. Tomorrow, we got some big energy earnings. We got Shell, we got Chevron, a bunch of earnings tomorrow morning for gas and other companies. The next week, we got some big earnings as well, specifically Alibaba and a bunch of other ones. So stick around. We'll be covering all of this live. Hey, SPAC, I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you, man. Really, genuinely appreciate the support over the last few days as well. Good luck. Y'all have a good evening, and we'll see you guys back bright and early tomorrow morning. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our crypto channel, youtube.com/beginnercrypto. We're going to be doing a show there tomorrow morning as well. And we did break 700 subscribers. We're slowly pushing for 1,000 subscribers here. So sub to Beginner Crypto. And yeah, good luck, guys. We'll see how the market reacts to everything tomorrow morning. There's the link for BT Crypto. And yeah, we'll see you guys. Good luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow.